Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori and this is Africa 54. Now, terrorist attacks in northern Nigeria are increasingly disrupting daily life. In a few moments, we'll have the latest on the confusion surrounding the abduction of about 200 schoolgirls. But first, the Nigerian militant group Boko Haram has claimed responsibility for last week's bombing in the capital that killed 75 people. In a video message, Abubakar Shekau, the man who says he ordered the bombing, says nothing about the mass abduction of the girls, most of whom are still missing. Murdock reports from Abuja.
At this hospital in the Nigerian capital, survivors fill rooms and the hallways. Some are unconscious, others slowly sip Ovaltine and milk. Sahadu is a civil servant and was on his way to work when the bomb went off.
I was about to enter the bus when I heard the bomb sound, boom. Then I fell down and my face was shattered.
The attack on this bus station, Nyanya, was the first attack in the capital since 2012. Hours after the bombing, blood still stained the ground and stunned crowds quietly stared at the bomb site. Boko Haram, an insurgent group that has killed thousands of people in the past few years, usually launches attacks in the northeast. The government has deployed thousands of troops in efforts to crush the insurgency. But analysts say violence is still increasing, and 1,500 people have been killed in the first 3 months of this year alone. Clement Nwankwo is with the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center in Abuja.
And it raises questions about the use of resources, because never in the history of this country has so much money been devoted to defense. And yet there's very little evidence of the impact of the spending on the effectiveness of the military in the fight against terrorism.
Northern security forces were also on high alert last week after more than 100 girls were abducted from a school. Boko Haram has not claimed responsibility, but the group, which is believed to have many factions, is widely blamed. Pastor Ayo Oret-Sejafor is the president of the Christian Association of Nigeria. He says despite the increase in violence and the increase in spending, the Nigerian military is doing the best it can with the resources it has.
We must commend our military men. If you pull them out, for example, that part of the country will be lost completely.
Unpredictable guerrilla warfare, not enough soldiers, and small pockets of support for Boko Haram among civilians and officials are among those challenges, he says. Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan called an emergency security meeting last week, but decision-making was postponed because opposition leaders, including the governors of the states under emergency rule, did not attend. At another hospital across town, these men wait for the body of their friend and brother to be released for burial. Mutala Ibrahim lost 3 brothers in the Abuja bombing.
There's no place in Nigeria that doesn't know pain. Armed robbers, accidents, bombings can happen anywhere.
Mutala says the government cannot or maybe will not stop the attacks, so the only thing left for them to do is to pray for peace. Murdock for VOA News, Abuja.
And now, for more on the kidnapping of schoolgirls in Nigeria, we are joined by Leo Keyen of VOA's Hausa service. Welcome, Leo.
Thank you.
Really sad development in Nigeria.
Very sad indeed, very sad indeed.
Now, if we may focus on those girls who were kidnapped, you've spoken, your team has spoken to people on the ground, including parents. What are they saying?
Let's throw back a little. The same thing happened in a school in Yobe about 2 months ago, where they separated the young men from the girls and told the girls to go home and marry and not come back to this kind of school again. They've moved on a little bit further by now going to take them away. They abduct them. And we talked to the parents and the governor of the state and the serving senator from the state, who were all full of tears. I mean, how much more tears would anybody feel, or rather, spill before anybody comes to their rescue? What the parents are saying that there were no military presence around that incident. They claim that they had to pursue these students, pursue the terrorists on their motorbikes. They got to a certain point, the road finished, there was a wooden bridge, and they got into the forest and were told by some locals in the area, that they shouldn't go beyond a certain point in Sambisa Forest.
So the parents themselves pursued this
They organized
abductors.
themselves into such gangs on machines, on motorbikes, and chased these people. They saw some fresh passage signs that there was a hut that was used to camp the girls, and later they were moved on.
Now, where was the Nigerian military at this time?
That is the question that everybody's asking, and I could see and hear it from the governor's statement that he was himself scared to talk about their state of preparedness anymore. You know, he mentioned something like that before, and he was castigated. So I think he's being careful this time.
Now, for those who have escaped, what do they say? Are they speaking about what they saw, what has happened?
Those who escaped didn't do that with the knowledge of the terrorists. So the girls jumped from the vehicles, and there are some of them who escaped from a point where they camped them. So these people are so terrified. They're so terrified they can't even speak. The girls, and besides, you know, these are girls, young girls, for that matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in a few seconds, so we don't know if the government is pursuing these fellows.
Well, the military would tell you they're doing that. They would never tell you they're not doing that, but just how successful they can be at this point when they've taken them deep into the forest is the problem.
We'll watch and see what happens. Leo, thank you very much
for
joining us. Leo Keyen is chief of VOA's Hausa service.